All right, y'all need to chill out with the emails. Because we already have too many new underground metal albums to check out on Bandcamp today. So I'm going to jump right in with Cacotopia. Alright, some good old blackened death metal kind of vibes here. Let's see what the tags say. Yeah, extreme metal, technical black metal, a lot of black metal. Out of my own old stomping grounds of Illinois. I'm not sure where Love's Park is. I'll have to look it up on a map to see how far that is from where I grew up. But this won't even be the only Illinois group we're covering today, but more on that soon. Overall, sounds solid. I think the production could be slightly better, but overall, dig what I'm hearing, and as always, this is just meant to give you a little sample so you all can check it out for yourselves. So moving on, we have our other Illinois band, this one out of Chicago. I interacted with them. They seem pretty chill, and they know some people from my old suburb. But yeah, this is Shallowwell. I know I don't do singles anymore. Please don't submit these singles. I made an exception here because they do have an EP that you can also check out. And, you know, Chicago people gotta stick together. So this is Shallowwell with Sweet Home. Yeah, really solid stuff. Love the production. Very just grand sounding. And I love the Resident Evil reference points here. They describe themselves as American Melodeath. Just those two words in the bio, which is pretty cool. I like the album art. And from what I checked out of the EP, there's some cool stuff going on there too. So if you want some nice horror-themed Chicago-based melodic death metal, then definitely check out Shallowwell. By the way, if my voice sounds bad at any point in this, I'm getting like a bronchitis thing going on. It's been going around. It sucks. But anyways, we have Negation with Accessory to Violence. Yeah, really digging that. That is up my alley. These guys out of St. Albert, Alberta. And yeah, some metallic hardcore vibes going on here. Really leaning into just the pure hardcore energy with the vocals. But those riffs have that more kind of metalcore energy. That little... The alternations of the palm muting with the picking. Always a big fan of that. Sometimes people ask me what's the difference between metallic hardcore and metalcore, and some people will say there isn't, but I use that to distinguish between bands like this that feel much more hardcore influenced and rooted versus others like Killswitch Engage that are more kind of melodic death metal influenced and rooted and are on the more kind of melodic side just in general. So a little bit of trivia for you today, but yeah, check out Negation. Next up, we have Ritual Awakening with Greed. All right, that sounds really rad. That drum section there with the break into the vocals and everything, super rad. Lots of different stuff in the tags here. We got melodic death metal, we got more hardcore, we got old school death metal. Don't hear that as much, but I guess with the production being a little bit more raw, kind of like old school melodic death metal, thrash metal. So lots of stuff coming together here, and it comes together very well. I also love the vibe of this page too. You can't even see all of it because it's getting cut off for you, but there's all this very stark black and white kind of comic book, almost like Sin City style artwork that just tickles me just the right way. So yeah, good all around. No feedback on this one. That just sounds pretty awesome. And yeah, highly recommend. This just came out June 9th. Check out Ritual Awakening. All right, we have Horrid Demise with Death Awaits. Yeah, coming in hot with all this like metalcore influence stuff here. Another one too that I'd say is kind of like more older metalcore, where it was a little bit more aggressive, not quite as melodic as it's gotten these days, which I like both styles. But yeah, just a very violent and aggressive, but with those very cool riffs and a lot of hooks going on there. Production also kind of leaning more towards that like older 90s style. I think there could be some tweaks in there, but overall, I just dig the mix of the aggression and melodicism together. So some of these titles too, 2 Girls, 1 Chainsaw. That's that's fun. So a lot of like brutal death metal imagery too. So these guys are out of Texas. Check out Horrid Demise. All right, we have the return of Breaths with Death Can Wait. Yeah, sounding rad again. I enjoyed their previous release. I believe we covered the self-titled. And yeah, just really cool mix of like post-metal, some groovy almost like Deftones vibes at times. There's like, they have black gaze in the tags, and I hear some of that coming through. Doom gaze too. You can hear the doom elements. The very, very unique textured sound, lots of atmosphere, very well produced. And so, yeah, if you haven't checked them out from previous recommendation, I would consider checking them out for this one as well. This one comes out June 27th, and depending on when you're watching this, it may be fully out or will be coming out very soon. All right, we have Dagger with Torn Veil of Existence. All right, some very just classic sounding thrash metal from Cyprus. And yeah, just pretty chill. I think the production could use quite a bit of work. It doesn't sound like bad, but it just, I don't know, like the mixing and the volume and all that could be better. I love the artwork. Songwriting's pretty solid. I think the vocals are a little one note, so working on some dynamics in that area would be nice. The one other piece of feedback that is totally up to you, but it means something to me, related to something I said earlier in the video. Change your Bandcamp page to black at least, and then also consider changing the text color to like neon green. I think that'll look really nice to make the album cover and everything pop a little bit more, and just those little steps sometimes keep people on board. So yeah, that is Dagger. We have Warrior Pope with a Morbid parody of Justice. All right, y'all know I'm not a huge Doom guy, but some really solid Doom out of Bristol, UK here. I love these nasty, gnarly vocals. That's what I want, that more kind of like sludgy, extreme, ugly Doom vibe. And yeah, would I sit and listen to this album all the way through? I don't know. I'd have to sample it a little bit more to see what's involved here. But as far as just that little 40 or so seconds, I like what I'm hearing. So if you don't like Doom, or if you do, this seems like one still worth checking out. Production's great. Don't really have any feedback on it. All right, the return of Olde with, oh god, Poświaty. Probably nowhere close. This is a Polish group. And yeah, Polish is something I have zero experience with pronouncing. But let's check this out. So yeah, I said group, but I should have said it's a solo project, and I've compared them a little bit to like Heilung, but they're a little bit more kind of traditional melodic than that, I would say, but a lot of like dark folk, pagan folk, no real metal elements, just very purely kind of vocally driven with, as you heard there, this one even seems a little bit more like pop production sentiment. It's not pop music, but I don't want to put that across at all. But in comparison to kind of the starker vibe of some of the earlier stuff, in fact, I think the earliest one was like almost all vocally driven with some like flutes and stuff like that. I could be totally wrong because it's been a little while, but I've enjoyed what Olde has put out, and so I wanted to recommend this one as well. Moving on, we have Bleeth with Marionette. Yeah, another one with just like massive sounding production. These guys are out of Miami, Florida. I've become more and more a fan of noise rock over the past several years, especially stuff with more of a metal tinge like Ken Mode, also Daughters, Jesus Lizard, all sorts of stuff like that. I've just been kind of going more and more down the rabbit hole with that, and this gives me that same kind of nihilistic, dark, but hypnotic and strangely pleasing energy to it. I love this album art too, but yeah, another one across the board sounds awesome, to the point where I even considered looking into this more for my May list, but that list was so packed, so I just didn't have room for it. So this came out May 29th, and if you also like noise, then you should check out Bleeth for sure. Next up is Facade with Radiant. Yeah, some more really solid Doom. Every now and then, people recommend me things. Rare to have two in one video, but this one also, in a different kind of way, got me, because it's got, again, those like deathier, more extreme vocals, but a lot of atmosphere, too. There's a group called Doomed that those final kind of more melodic guitar elements reminded me of a little bit. Yeah, this crew is out of the Netherlands, and lots of good stuff coming out of there, so that's not so surprising. But good mix of, like, post-metal and doom. They call it post-doom metal in their description here. Lots of atmosphere, and yeah, sounds really cool. Might have to check that out more. Next up, we have another returner here, Old Scratch with It Hath Descended. So yeah, if you missed our previous coverage of Old Scratch, this is a black metal group based around DJ scratching, which is just the most unique idea. And I love this artwork. I feel like it really gets the idea, concept, and just vibe across so well. Yeah, it's interesting. It's an Ohio project. I think it's a solo project. But yeah, how often do you hear turntables and black metal in the same sentence, you know? I points always for uniqueness. I still haven't decided how much I like fully enjoy it, but I really want people to go out and outside of the comfort zone and try fresh, unique things. We need new voices, new ideas, new movements in music, and so this excites me on that level. So yeah, check out Old Scratch. We also have Gegenentwurf with Abgrund. So another solo project, as you might have guessed from those words, it's out of Germany. It's like the most German sounding words of all time. Yeah, interesting, crazy guitar work. In fact, within seconds of listening to the guitar direction, I was like, the first tag's going to be avant-garde, isn't it? And sure enough, sure enough it was. Avant-garde black metal, experimental. I love avant-garde stuff. It can get a little too avant-garde. It kind of runs on a spectrum for me, where if it loses the plot a little too much, then I start to lose interest. And so again, I'd have to sample a lot more of this to decide where this fits. But as far as like how it's produced, how it's performed, how it sounds overall, sounds kind of cool. I just wonder if there's enough to keep me on the line. But there's plenty of other people besides me who like things to get even crazier and more wild. So you can sound off in the comments on which one you are. But we also go to Lights of Vimana with Neopolis. Wow, I almost hate to shut it off because it was getting so epic by the end there. Wow, thrice in one video. A Doom project got me intrigued. So again, really leaning into the atmospheric side and also more progressive side on this one. Definitely got my head bobbing. It says members of Void of Silence, Mesmer, and Slow, which are mostly names that sound familiar to me. Pretty cool. Pretty engrossing. Again, very hypnotic is a word that comes to mind. I loved how it was like building tension, and then we get this big like explosion of vocals there that was just so dramatic. And also I love all the little cinematic elements with the brass and the strings, and very cool. This sounds super interesting as well. So also go out, check out Lights of Vimana with Neopolis. All right, that's enough for this video. Hopefully the recommendations will slow down a little because frankly, it's overwhelming. There's too much to keep up with, but please do keep this segment going and keep me motivated to do it by joining on Patreon, becoming a channel member, and then also just spreading this to as many people as you can so that we can grow viewership for this segment. But that'll do it for now. Check out this playlist for more, but that'll, I'll see you in the trenches. Bye.